Okay, so let's try this video again. Hi, everybody. So I recorded this last night, but the pizza guy came, and then because my daughter could smell the pizza, she kept interrupting to ask when we would eat pizza. So it did not go well. I'm gonna just re-record it today and see if it goes better. So, um, about outlines. Let's talk about outlines. Uh, Oh yeah, you're gonna hear my cat every once in a while because she is being a little whiny this morning. She's mad that her food bowl is only half full of food. She wants it all the way full. No, you're fine. You're not gonna starve. You're gonna come sit over here. Okay, but if you're gonna sit here, you gotta be quiet. Anyway, it's not a kid, it's a cat. Um, so I guess the disclaimer with outlines that you should probably know is that there's no wrong way to outline. The right way to outline is the way that works for you. There's lots of different ways. I used to be kind of against outlines. I thought they just didn't work. I thought, no, I'm a pantser. I just prefer to just write the story as it comes to me. But then I was having a hard time actually ever finishing any of my stories. So I can you not do that? Okay, go. Cat, go. Um, so anyway, I started looking around for different ways to outline. I tried all kinds of different methods and I hated most of them. The way that I found now works really well for me. Try it, see if it works well for you. If it doesn't, keep looking for your own way. Now it's rare that I abandon a story because it's a lot easier when I have an outline. I do not always outline, so let me see, especially with like short stories, like my hysteria story. What other one? Maybe I didn't write these. I didn't write these in. So I write in 3 different places because I'm a mess. I write in Google Docs, I write in Evernote, and I write in Scrivener. We'll talk more about Scrivener in a bit. Anyway, so like my magic story photosynthesis and the hysteria fic, and there are a few others that, oh, this mess is mine. That's funny. That was supposed to be a short one, so I never developed an outline for that one. Um, my keys are kind of loud and clacky, so you probably will hear them over the course of this video. But yeah, This Mess Is Mine was supposed to be a short story, so I never developed an outline, and now it has grown into a monster story. So this is one I'm just winging it. I'm just writing by the seat of my pants, going, okay, what should happen next, and then writing it. And it's going okay. Obviously, I am stalled at the very end. I have 3 chapters left to go, and it's been a beast trying to write them. Um, but yeah, the proposal story, I did kind of have an outline, but I can't show you that one because I deleted it as I was writing. I would go along. Are you coming to sit back here? I would go along and like delete as I wrote. Anyway, okay. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So you can pants your stories, you can write them as you go, and it's really fun, and I do love doing that, which is why I still do it with short stories. But for the purposes of NaNoWriMo specifically, I find it extremely helpful to have an outline. Let's just go to the home page of NaNoWriMo. So this is going to be my 6th year participating in NaNoWriMo. I have done it. I have finished 3 times, and I have abandoned it pretty early into the challenge twice. This one I was just pantsing it, and it managed to work out. These two, it did not work out. I mean, this one was a short story anthology, so that was a little different, but still, I didn't have a plan going in. I just thought, okay, let's just do it. And it went miserably. And so did this one. This one was like a, yeah, like a kid's story, like older, what is it, middle reader? A middle reader story. That one did not go well either. But these ones are where I stumbled into this outlining process that I have, and it went way better. So let's talk about it. Um, quick, another quick disclaimer. I use Scrivener a lot, and I really love Scrivener. And while this is not a Scrivener commercial, I'm not being paid by Scrivener to push it or anything. I really, really love this app, so I'm probably going to gush about it a little, and you're going to be like, wow, this is really annoying. But I want to tell you about it because the way that I got Scrivener is through NaNoWriMo. Every year, they offer all kinds of different things to their winners, all kinds of different coupons of programs and subscriptions, and like this one, I think. Oh, wait, this is not even the one. There was another one up here that was like something Sisters. It's, oh, right here, Sisters in Crime. It's like a writing group where they have like membership fees or whatever. So NaNoWriMo will offer you all this cool stuff, but every single year they offer the winners. Where is my Scrivener? Where's Scriv? Right here. Every year they'll offer the winners 50% off, which is how I got it. So anyway, yeah. So if you're like, I love Scrivener, that looks so cool. I think I want that. Win NaNoWriMo and you can get a discount. Also, I will, because I intend to win again this year, I'll probably have an excess coupon I could give to somebody. Okay. So okay, I talked about Scrivener, so now I am like lost. If you want to know what offers they're giving to winners, or sometimes it's just participants. Sometimes 20% off for participants, 50% off for winners. You just come up here to Writers Resources and then come to Offers. You will unlock the winners coupon obviously, after you submit your final word count by the end of the month. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of these things I've never really used, and there are other writing programs besides Scriv that you can get, like Hermit, I think, is a writing program. Word Anvil, I know, is another software. Anyway, all kinds of things. Getting a little sidetracked with this. I haven't even looked at all these. I don't even know what all these are. What is Campfire Blaze? I don't even know. Oh, this is another word processor. Oh man, there's all kinds of different ones that you can look at. So maybe watch some YouTube videos and decide which one you want. I will talk about Scrivener a little so you will see that. Okay, so, no right way to outline. The right way is the way that works for you, or if you just hate writing an outline, that's fine too. You don't need one. It's not a requirement for participating in NaNoWriMo. I just find that it makes success more likely. Okay, so maybe I'll go back here. I don't know if I'm gonna need this again. Say hi to yourselves. Okay, so when I am going to start a story, I will usually have some kind of document that's like titled ideas or brainstorm or brain dump, or info or whatever. And this is my brain for the process. This is where I just put every idea that I ever have about the story, I just vomit onto this document. So I like right away I think, okay, I have this cool idea for a story. I want it to be like an ABO set in space, but not like Canonverse space, like kind of a Lost in Space, Passengers kind of vibe. Okay, and then I just start writing that. And I write, okay, and I just start brainstorming. And this document is almost always a mess because I talk to myself in the document. I am literally like any thought that passes through my head as I'm thinking about this story gets put into here. Um, I don't know, I don't have all the answers right away. So there's vague stuff like, and then something happens, and then there's an emergency and makes all the doors lock, and I don't care that I don't know this answer right now. I'm just putting down everything. It's just a vomit. And usually keep I'll just add to this the whole time. I'll add to this before I actually write the story. I'll be working on this for a long time, but then also as I'm writing, if I get new ideas or um, I think something should be changed, I'll always just stick it into this document. So I talk to myself in the document. Sometimes I write pieces of scenes. In this one particularly, I like drafted out these little, like, this was an email. Why am I opening my dictionary? I didn't mean to do that. Like, this was an email that I wanted to post on Twitter. It's like a screenshot. Um, these are other emails, and then there were some like texts and things. So I wanted this story to be kind of mixed platform. It was going to be mostly on AO3, but then there were going to be um, like pieces, little supplemental pieces on Twitter. So that got put into this brainstorm document too. Let me show you on my, so this is my medieval AU. There's a weird sound coming from my computer right now. What is that? Okay, that's strange. This is my medieval AU that I'm going to be working on for NaNoWriMo this year. So this is my brainstorming document. It's not super long actually right now because I had, yeah, anyway. This was an idea that I had like years and years and years ago, not as a fic, but just as an original story, but then I never went anywhere with it, and so several months ago I was like, actually that would work really well as an AU. So I already kind of had a lot of the building work done. But yeah, this is my brainstorming document for this story. I just put in every idea that I have. This I did put in like a piece of a scene. This document is very like, working out what characters are going to play what role in the story. It's going to be, what the primary conflicts will be. Um, Anything I can think of. Sometimes if I have an idea like in the middle of the night or first thing when I wake up, I'll add it to this document. If I'm out running errands and I have an idea, boom, it goes into this document. So then I can find it later when I'm like, oh, what was that thought that I had? It's in here somewhere in this mess. So sometimes when you're writing this, you'll think, um, oh, I have a really good idea for this scene. I want to write this. And so you can, like I said, sometimes I'll put pieces of scenes in here. Like this one, I thought, wait, for the beginning, I kind of think it should go like this. So I wrote this rough sketch of what I thought the beginning should look like, but then by the end, I was like, I don't know if I actually like this or not. So anyway, so I kept it. I'm not going to delete it because there might be things in here, like maybe a sentence or a paragraph that I still really love that I'll end up pulling into the rough draft in the end. But I also have sometimes, because I'll have a lot of scenes that I'm really excited to write. I'll make like a random scenes document and I'll just start putting those in, and like they just leave off abruptly because I'm like, oh, now I don't know how the rest of the scene goes. Um, there's all kinds of junk in here. All these scenes, I don't even know if they're going to make it in or not, but they were really inspiring me at the time, so that's what I wrote. And that's a good thing. I encourage you to do that if you are, even as you're writing, in your brainstorming document or as you're writing your outline or wherever, if there's a scene you're really excited about, then write it. Otherwise, it's going to be just like a chore getting to that point. And you'll be sad that you haven't written it before. So, anyway, so I think that's it for the brainstorming document. I was going to show you on this one. This is not a fic. This is an original story. This was my project last year for NaNoWriMo. And this one is a little different because so this is my brainstorming document for this one, and it is definitely a mess. Like I was copying and pasting stuff into here, so then like the fonts change, and I was like, okay, so we need a name for the main dude in this story. So then I was brainstorming names, like, oh, her best friend needs a name. Let's think about that. And then this one, I did not write my traditional outline. So you'll see right here where it says outline, it's blank. There's nothing here. Because when I was doing my brainstorming document, it kind of evolved into both a brain dump and an outline, so it's all kind of mixed together. I was going through the story in a linear way, like first this happens, and then there's this, and then they're on the hunt again, and then so it was going through the story, but I was also brainstorming as I was going, like, wait a minute, do I like that? I don't know. It seems inexplicable. Why would this happen? So this story ended up a little different. And that I kind of wanted, oh yeah, look, this is another part where I copied and pasted from some website, and so then it's in a weird formatting. But the reason I wanted to show this to you is because your outline can look like whatever you want, and you don't even have to be consistent within your own work. And now I'm working on draft 2 of this story, so now I have draft 2 thoughts put into this. Okay. So you have your brainstorming document. Let's go back to this. So you have your brainstorming document here. Usually after I've thought about this for a while and I've kind of built out the story and I have a basic sort of map of where I want to go. I know that, this is going to happen first. I know that at some point in the story this will happen, and I know that at the end it's going to end like this. So as long as you have kind of a very basic map of where you want to go, you can start working on the outline, or as I have titled it, the outline. I don't know. Okay. Sorry, I still kind of have a cold and I've got like this little tickle in my throat now. Okay. So this is how I outline. Oh my gosh, I did it again. So like I said, there are lots of ways to outline. I prefer the linear model, the go through it beat by beat. My husband, for his birthday, his brother gave him a subscription to Masterclass. You know those videos from like celebrities and whatever experts talking about what they do. So, cat, do not eat the foil. You're gonna choke. What a dumb, dumb animal. So anyway, so I watched a master class by James Patterson, and he talked about outlining, and I found it like extremely helpful. After I tried his method, then for the first time in my life, I found an outline useful, and I finished a story, and it was amazing. So he uses the outline as a chance to basically write the story in a really simple way, in a really like kind of bare bones way, but work out the story. And so anyway, that's pretty much how I do it. He goes into a lot more detail with his outlines. I don't have the patience for that, so mine is a lot more bare than his is. But so anyway, I go chapter by chapter. I say, okay, chapter 1, how does this story begin? And then I figure it out. I think it's going to start with Ray, and I think we're going to start with her and she's saying goodbye to Earth. And we see how gross the Earth has become. And anyway, so I just start writing the story. It's kind of freeing to do it this way. Let me show you on here. Because it's like you're writing the story, but you're not worried about dialogue or scene descriptions or anything. It's just what's going to happen. And so anyway, usually it's easy to get through chapter 1 and then you come to a point where you're like, "Oh, well, I don't know what's supposed to happen next, but I know that in a little while I want to write to this milestone or something." So then anyway, then you look at your brain dump or you think about it for a few days. Usually it takes me a long time to write an outline. I don't sit down and bust it out in a day. Sometimes I do when, the muse is upon me and have tons of inspiration. Then sometimes I can just get through an outline. But usually if I come to a spot that I'm like, well, shoot, I don't know what happens next, then I leave it and I think about it for a while and then usually it comes to me. So you write towards your milestones. You write towards the things that you know you want to have happen. You write towards the ending. Hopefully you have an ending in mind. It's like super, look at this, the smut. I never actually outline my smut in detail. Maybe that's why I always get stuck on it. But I always think, I'm just going to let that scene go where it wants to go. And I don't really know what's going to happen yet because I haven't felt out the dynamic between these characters yet. So anyway, sometimes my outline is really bare like that, and sometimes it's more detailed. The more detailed you can make your outline, the easier time you will have writing for NaNoWriMo. Because you're never going to get to a point where you're like, oh, crap, I don't know what happens now. This is, there we go. Yeah, so you never get to a point where you're like, I don't know what happens. These years that I did not finish, that's pretty much what happened. I got through like the first chapter or the first story in this anthology. I got through the first chapter here, and then I was like, well, now what? I mean, I know way later down the road I want this to happen, but now what happens? So, and then that's when you kind of abandon projects because the pace of NaNoWriMo doesn't really allow for a lot of that. So if you can figure it out before, you will have a much easier time. Yeah, so try to make these chapters as detailed as you can. Say, put in emotions, he's annoyed. You can put in basic scene descriptors, like it's a rainy night. Oh my gosh, I'm having a very hard time clicking my mouse today. The more detailed you can make it, the easier time you'll have when you actually try to write this chapter. And also, for NaNoWriMo, you're going to have the urge to make it perfect. You're going to have the urge to be like, no, I hate this scene. I want to go back and change it. I'm going to delete it and rewrite it. Do not do that. NaNoWriMo is fast-paced. You have to get like 1,600 words a day or something like that. And which might not sound like that much. Sometimes when we do sprints, we all get half of that in like half an hour. So that's really good. We all have practice writing quickly, but doing that every single day is a little exhausting sometimes. So do not self-edit as you go along. I mean, you can fix typos and stuff, obviously, but don't go back and like delete scenes. Don't go back and try to rework the beginning a million times. Just keep going, keep writing, and then you can polish it up and rewrite and fix stuff before you post. Yeah, let me think. What else did I want to say about that? I kind of got off on that little tangent. And, oh yeah, so the more detailed you can make it, the better it will be. You'll have an easier time when you go, okay, I need to get my 1,600 words today. What am I going to write about? Boom. You already know. You just get to fill it in with a lot of fluffy flavor text. And dialogue and like that's the fun part for me. You already know what you want to do, so now you get to make it rich and interesting and fun. What else was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. I should have written notes. Oh, a lot of people don't like outlines because they think it limits them, like it inhibits them, and they're like, well, now I'm locked into this story. You are not locked in. You wrote this outline. You can change it if you want to. If you're writing and you think, you know what, chapter 3, I'm not feeling this. I don't think this is what happens. That's fine. Deviate from your outline. That's a good thing, actually. I listen to your story, listen to your characters and their voices, and take it where it wants to go naturally. You don't have to stick to this rigid outline just because this is what you said you were going to do. Oh yeah, look in here. I kind of put in to my outline. I'm going to do a supplemental Twitter update as part of this. Um, anyway, yeah, so be flexible with your outlines, be gentle with yourselves, but try to get as much of the story worked out now as you can. One of the benefits of doing it this way is that you can see plot holes. So if you're going chapter by chapter and you come upon a thing and you're like, oh, wait a minute, let me see if I can find an example of this. Oh yeah, this one I was like, should it be Rose? It might be Rose. I don't think there's an example of this in this particular story, and I don't know how much of this one I want to give away. But anyway, there's sometimes as you're writing your outline, you'll come a part where you're like, oh, this needs to happen, but I actually don't like. I don't know why this is gonna happen. This is just kind of a like a I don't know. It's you'll find plot holes that way. Like, oh crap, how do we get here? And so then it will help you work it out in this part instead of having to work it out in your whole draft, which is a much bigger pain in the butt. So anyway, I find it super beneficial to do it this way. Try it, see if you like it. Be flexible and um, try to get as much of the story worked out before you actually launch into NaNoWriMo. And then when you do, so a note about Scrivener. One of the nice things about Scrivener is that you can do split screen. So this is how I wrote most of this story last time. In this screen, I had my chapter open. And in this screen, I had my brainstorming document, or I would have like my characters open. Anyway, so then I'd be like, oh, okay, this is her background story. So this is what I need to write into this chapter. Or this is, some of the creatures that I want to use in this story. Let's put it in here. So anyway, I like the split screen feature. If I'm doing it on, oh yeah, let's talk about that in a minute. If I'm doing it on Google Docs, then usually what I'll do is I will take, like oh my gosh, I keep doing it. I've never done that before, and I don't know why I keep doing it today. So I'll copy this, and usually I'll have this open on a separate document. I'll have them open on 2 tabs, but where's my rough draft? Right here. So yeah, and then we open the outline or the brain dump or whatever you want to work off of when you're actually writing the story. So I will copy that chapter and then I will paste it and then I'll start writing the chapter up here. Writing a chapter is so fun. And I'll keep referencing the ideas that I put down here as I write the chapter. And then I'll usually just delete it when I'm done. Yeah, so that's that. I just want to show you, like, honestly, this is not a Scrivener commercial, but I do kind of want to show you some other cool things that Scrivener can do. So you have your, let's go over here to this one. You have your, you have this section called notes where you can just put all your stuff. This is where I put my map. That's where I put my random scenes. This is where I put my, you have this research section. So you can pull in like web pages. You can pull in documents from other places. Or in here I pulled in like, yeah, I made like this list of creatures that I wanted to put in the story. Random scenes that I was excited about. Wait, there's another, maybe it's in a different document entirely. I wrote an alternative beginning to the story. Anyway, so this is a cool feature. You have all these sections. You have this, I love this thing here. It's these character sheets, so you can have all your info about every character right here. You can drag in a picture over here if you want. I think I did that on this story, on these ones. No, I didn't do one for Kelly. Yeah, I did one for her, but I also put alternative pictures up here to see, just to get inspiration. Yeah. Anyway, so these are really cool. You can edit them however you want. This is like the base one, and you can put whatever things. I think I put the lie, the ghost, the want, and the need. I think I put those on these guys'. So now, yeah, the lie, the ghost, the want, the need. So now when I want to create a new character, I can just go bleep, and now it's all there for me to fill out. And anyway, that's very handy dandy. These, by the way, the lie, the ghost, the want, and the need, they come from a book called Creating Powerful Character Arcs, I think it's called. Creating Powerful Character Arcs. Oh, Creating Character Arcs, not Powerful. I just added powerful myself. By K.M. Weiland. This is a great book if you are looking at writing stories other than fan fiction, like creating your own characters. This is an awesome book for that. It really is very good about fleshing out their motivations and helping you figure out their arcs. And yeah, it's fantastic. It's short, it's small, but I really love it. I refer to it all the time. Yeah, I think that's it because we talked about outlines. Now it's just Scrivener fun. Scrivener is nice because you can have these like notes, these note cards, and you can change their appearance so they look like actual note cards if you want, but then you can kind of move them around if you think that chapter should come before this chapter, although that never really works for me because the way that I outline is very linear, so this happens before this, before this, before this. So it doesn't really make sense to move things around too much, but you can if that's how you operate. You can also put the synopsis into here so you can see it on the note card when you're moving things around. Anyway, so this is, I'm going to start writing here. I don't have much here yet because obviously I haven't started writing this story yet. But I'll probably, how do I change that to the, okay, never mind. I gotta play around with this. I don't remember how to change this to be horizontal split screen. I don't like the vertical split screen. Okay. Anyway, you guys don't need to worry about that. Yeah, so do your outlines, do your brain dumps, or don't do your outlines, whatever is going to work for you. Basically, you just want to always, with NaNoWriMo, you can write however you want any other way, but when it comes to NaNoWriMo, you definitely want to, what, didn't I change this? I thought I changed this. When it comes to NaNoWriMo, you definitely want to know what you're going to be writing about at all times. So, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get to a point where you think, crap, I don't know what comes next, because that will be, that's a scary thing for Nano. So yeah, have fun with that. Do it the way that feels good to you. Let's do some sprints when we're all working. I think NaNoWriMo calls them write-ins, because if there are people in your community that are also doing Nano, sometimes there are community events like at libraries or bookstores or other places where all the NaNoWriMo participants, or not all, but many of them will get together and write together to try to bust through a bunch of words. They're really fun. I've been to a few over the years, but this being the year of COVID, I imagine there won't be very many in-person write-ins. So we should do our own virtual write-ins, which we already do. We call them sprints, but yeah, let's do sprints together and get our word counts. We can do it. It's really fun when you get the little banner that says you did it, you wrote 50,000 words, and you get all the little coupons and stuff. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful. I don't know. You can tell me if this was just not that helpful at all. But this is how I outline. This is what works nicely for me. It feels good. It feels really nice when you get to the end of the outline and you're like, boom, the end. That's how the story will end. And then you have this sense of completion. Like, I did it. And then you get the fun part of going through and actually writing the scenes and fleshing them out and giving voice to the characters and seeing how they interact with each other. So I think it's really fun. Hopefully you found something useful out of this. If not, find the way that works for you. And yeah, talk to you later.